What's up, guys? I'm just a gamer and I'm back with another reaction video. Monster Hunter Wilds had a pre-launch community update that's a little over an hour and 20 minutes, and I'm really excited to see this because apparently they talk about a lot of stuff that they've changed or are working on for the game's release, which includes like changes to the hit stop, changes to weapons and skills and all that. So I'm really excited to dive into this. I probably won't watch the whole thing. I'll probably like just focus on things I'm interested in. But regardless, I'm excited. And yeah, enough of me talking. Let's get into it.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Monster Hunter Wilds pre-launch community update. My name's Jono, EME Community Manager on Monster Hunter. Hey everybody, I'm Joe. I'm the Capcom USA Community Manager on Monster Hunter. And welcome to our broadcast, which for the very first time will be bilingual in English and Japanese, which is a brand new concept for us. So we hope you enjoy it. And you'll probably not be surprised to find out why we're having it in English and Japanese, because as you can see, we have two very special guests with us. We have Monster Hunter Wilds director Yuya Tokuda, as well as Patrick from Capcom Europe, who will be translating for us. Hello. It's great to have you guys. Thank you so much for coming.
Nice.
Now, Joe, we've introduced our esteemed guests.
But I think, first of all, I really want you guys to just get your eyes on a gameplay video to understand where the performance is at. So I've prepared a video that's running on PlayStation
Nice.
5 in prioritized performance mode. It's not the final version of the game, but it's a more up-to-date version than the one you would have played in the OBT. So let's take a look at that now.
Beautiful. Ooh. Already I can say it's much better. Ooh. Oh my god. Hit stop. Oh, the hit stop. Oh, it makes it feel so much meatier and chunkier.
はい、このように、OBT の時よりも、綺麗なグラフィックで、
Okay.
60フレーム
So graphics mode is gonna be 4K 30 FPS and frame rate mode is gonna be 1080 60 FPS, which I'm fine with. I am, as long as I get my 60 like consistent crisp 60 FPS, I'm happy. I'm happy.
近くでプレイできる状態になっています。
Yeah, hopefully that gave you an impression of how much better the game is looking already since the OBT. It's running at
Definitely looks better.
the target of 60 frames per second, so it's looking great, I think.
はい、あと、プレイステーション5 Pro エンハンス対応につ
he
いて
said
は
Pro.、
製品版発売時の Day1 パッチにて、対応を
There's
予
gonna be
定
a
してい
day 1
ます。
patch.
プレイステーション5 Pro でのゲームプレイは、グラフィック表現がより強化、を予定しておりまして、詳細については今後の情報をお待ちください。
Also, just one thing to confirm is that PlayStation 5 Pro enhanced support is incoming. It'll be ready with the day one patch on release day of the title next year. That's going to enhance the graphics for PlayStation 5 Pro users. So please stay tuned for more details on that as we get closer to launch.
Yeah, I figured. I've said it. I've said it a dozen times already, but this game is the only reason I'm even considering getting a PS5 Pro. It is the only reason I'm even considering getting one. Just this game alone. I've said it a million times, but I just want to say it again. It's the only game so far that I'm even considering getting one.
On a potential benchmark tool, and overall those were some really great updates on performance. But let's go ahead and transition to some of the gameplay specific adjustments to
nice
the weapon
benchmark tool.
actions and the overall hunting experience. And I think both Jono and I know that one of the biggest topics and concerns from the community were changes to hit stop and the overall impact of weapons. And this was really something that we saw quite a bit of feedback on, looking for a little bit more punch to the different weapons. In our recent round of previews, we actually did confirm that there were some improvements made to this area. So, Takuda-san, can you detail what these tweaks are?
はい、パフォーマンスに続けて武器の調整についてですけれども、多くのユーザーから、もう少しパンチが欲しい、手応えを感じたいっていうフィードバックが寄せられていると思うんですけど、これに対してチームの方で予定している調整などについて教えてもらえますでしょうか。
This was very much felt by a lot of people. myself
はい、
included.
オープンベータテストでは、いわゆるヒットストップや、サウンドエフェクトが過去作に比べて弱いというご意見い
Yes.
ただいております。これらについて OBT では一部対応が漏れていたものもあったんですけど、製品版では、多くの武器種類、特に大技とか決め技を中心
Okay,
に、
friendly
攻
fire has
撃の
been
手応え
reduced.
をより感じていただけるような調整をしております。
Yeah, this is, what people refer to as hit stop. It's something that we were aware of with the OBT build. There were certain things we'd already taken care of, actually, and certain things that hadn't yet been done. So when it comes to making those weapons feel more weighty and impactful in terms of hit stop and sound effects, we are
Beautiful.
planning to make further adjustments in the full version of the game in that area.
一つの
Absolutely
例とし
beautiful.
て、調整後の体験の新ため切りの動画をお持ちしましたのでご覧ください。
I've got a video here that we can show in a second, which shows you the
Ooh.
true charged slash of the greatsword, and that's how it looks after these adjustments have been made to make these big moves and finishers feel more meaty. So let's show
Oh,
the video, please, and
yes.
see how that looks.
There it is. Yes, much better. I don't play Greatsword, but even I could see that feels much
はい
better.
体験実は新ため切りダメージ量の方も、増やしてます。ダメージ量に限らずですけど、このヒットエフェクトだったりだとかヒットストップについてももろもろ調整を行っていますし、サウンドですね、音についても調整してますので、トータルでヒット感は、向上しています。
So that move that we just saw, the true charge slash, has also actually had its damage output increased. But even for moves where I haven't changed the damage output, I've heard you guys on things like hit stop, on sound effects, how the moves feel to actually use. So those kind of adjustments are being made, not just on the greatsword. I use it as an example here because it's kind of easy to understand, but across the board on all weapon types.
Ugh, so happy to hear.
はい、
So happy to
ヒットスト
hear.
ップに関してはですね、モンスターハンターワールドをリリースした当初には、海外のユーザーを中心に、ヒットストップが強すぎるとか、重すぎるみたいなご意見をすごくいただいたんですけれども、今回モンスターハンターワイルズのオープンベータですと逆に弱いというご意見もたくさんいただきまして、モンスターハンターの持ち味であるこの、重みのあるアクションという感覚が世界中の方に受け入れられ始めているんだなということも感じまして、感慨深くもありました。
It was really interesting, actually, for me to receive this feedback on the beta. I'm thinking back to Monster Hunter World, which I also worked on. And back then, there was a lot of player feedback, especially outside Japan, where players felt that the game was actually too weighty, that the animations were too slow. And that's completely the opposite of what we heard this time, where people were saying the Wilds OPT, everything felt a bit too light and floaty and weaker. So I'm taking that as a positive, where I feel like in the years between Monster Hunter World coming out and Monster Hunter Wilds OBT, players around the world have gotten used to that meaty, weighty hit stop action that is kind of one of the hallmarks of Monster Hunter.
Yeah.
So knowing that they've accepted that and they wanted it back based on the OBT is actually something that I think is really interesting, and also it's really nice for me to hear.
Yeah, because that's something that I totally did not vibe with. I did not like when I saw people complaining about that in World and Iceborne. I was like, these people are crazy. This is how Monster Hunter, at least for me, has always been, or how it's always felt to me, and it felt great in World to me and Iceborne. So like hearing people complain about that at that time, I was like, what? And seeing how people again got used to it and came around to it, I'm just like, yes, much better. This is mwah, chef's kiss. This much better in my opinion.
A lot of juicy changes. We've been getting stuck straight in. So let's kind of move over to adjustments to something that's really important and helps really define a hunter's identity in game.
Weapons.
And that we're all very passionate about.
Weapons!
Our weapons.
Yeah.
So I know many people are really interested in this. Takuda-san, in our recent previews, the team showed off some changes to the insect glaive. But that's not the only weapon. Multiple weapons have received adjustments, but a few in particular, like the aforementioned insect glaive, have received the most attention, right?
武器の調整についてですけれども、プレビューのインタビューなどで徳田さんは特に総中根などの武器がかなり OBT に比べて大きく調整が入っているというふうにコメントをいただいていると思うんですけど、こちらについてもう少し詳細に教えてもらえますでしょうか。
はい、特に総中根、ランス、スラッシュアックス、片手剣については製品版とかなり違いを感じられるような、武器種になっています。それらを中
I'm not a
心に
Lance user,
調
so I
整内容を
really
ご
don't
紹
know
介できれ
what
ばと
how
思い
this
ます。
affects lances that much.
Yeah, the insect glaive is one of several weapons, such as the lance, the switch axe, and the sword and shield, which I think players will, if you've played the OBT version and then you play the full game, you're going to notice maybe the biggest differences and feel like we've made the most adjustments to those weapons in particular, although we have made adjustments to all the weapons. So I'd like to take the chance to go through a few of those details with you.
Hell yeah.
はい、総中根についてはまずは動画を見ていただければと思います。
So if we can run the video we've prepared of the insect glaive, let's take a look at that
Oh,
first.
yes. It's back! Oh, yes, it's back! Oh, yes. Oh, oh my god.
はい、このように
That
まず
was
武
amazing.
装跳躍が、
Oh my god, that was
追加され
amazing.
ております。
That's right, vaulting dance is back.
Oh my
総
god,
中
I'm
根
so
については
happy.
ゲームズコンや TGS の私有の段階で、特にこの総中根使いの方々から、アイデンティティとも言えるような、武闘跳躍を、ないことについてですね、非常に残念がある声というのをたくさんいただいてましたので、OBT では間に合わなかったんですけれども、製品版の方では、武闘跳躍追加しております。
So this is something I was actually
Whoa, the bottom. Red, white, and orange extract effects now also mitigates wind pressure, tremors, and roars. Baby, oh baby, we back. Oh, insect glaive is back, baby. Yes. Ah, I'm drooling. Oh my goodness, yes. Oh,
aware of even before the feedback from the open beta test back at our Gamescom and Tokyo Game Show exhibitions of gameplay. We had our, insect glaive users, our bug rod mains, complaining that the vaulting dance was missing, and it's one of the iconic moves of that particular weapon. So yeah, I'm happy to confirm that vaulting dance makes its return in the full version of Monster Hunter Wilds.
またですね、
I'm
吸収切り
shaking.
の出始
I'm
めのところ
shaking.
に、相殺効果がついていたりだとか、エキスを取った時の、効果などが OBT から、追加で対応を行っていまして、これらによって、立ち回りの幅がすごく広がっています。
As you can see on the slide, we've got a few other adjustments being made. One of them is that the descending slash now has an offset effect added at the beginning of that move. And
Which
we
looked
also have
badass.
additional effects happening with the different extracts that you have during the course of the action. So those are going to improve the feel of the insect glaive too.
Hell
です
yeah.
その吸収切りのための部分の、操作っていうのが、押しづらいというご意見も、すごく多くいただいておりました。
One thing I wanted to cover additionally was that some players said that the controls for charging up the descending thrust were a little bit too difficult, or they felt tricky to operate in the heat of the hunt.
僕自身も押しづらい
Yeah,
な
it
と感じ
was
る部分
weird
もあ
to
りま
like
したの
hold the
で、
charge
何
while
かでき
trying
ない
to
か
do
検
stuff.
討や相談っていうのを進めていたんですけれども、慣れてくるとですね、この貯めることによる遊びの広がりっていうのも確かにあるなというふうにも感じていることから、あとそれを回収するコストとももろもろ天秤にかけていった結果、今回はその試操作に関しては残すことに、しました。
I took that feedback on board, and I tried it out in the game myself, and I did somewhat agree that it could be tricky to pull that off right in the middle of things, but we always have to weigh up when we're going to make these kind of modifications to a weapon what the implications are for its playstyle as a whole. We have to balance the idea of changing that with how it might play the way it is. So after many discussions with the team, I actually decided to keep this one the way it is. I think that it is
Oh, okay.
one of the trickier things to pull off, but it's sort of a bit of a rewarding bit of depth to the gameplay of the insect glaive. If you can get used to that and learn when to use the charge, you can really deepen your play style. So that's something that we're not
I mean,
adjusting this
I
time, although we
respect
did
it.
hear your voices
I
on that.
respect it.
ですね、メディアプレビューツアーに、来られ
Again, like I actually had said it myself in my impression video that the insect glaive, like the, because it feels like you have to like stop to press a button to, and to like get the charge up, and like you have to like it was just a little weird. It didn't feel all that like great. Um, but I understand like where he's coming from, what he says, and I'm taking it. So like I respect that. And I'm pretty sure there'll be ways to, now that we have aerial vaulting dance back. I'm thinking in my mind, I'm already I'm already thinking about things of like, of well, maybe during like mid combo while you're in the air, if if you press it while you're like mid animation of falling back, if that'll start charging it right away, and that you can go right into it. So I'm like, if they can do that, I think that would still, feel significantly better in my opinion. But again, until we get our hands on it and actually try it to see if it'll work that way, who knows? But so far, everything about the insect glaive that I see here, mwah, chef's kiss, love it. Oh, I'm so excited. Oh, insect glaive is back. Oh, I'm so excited.
た、総中根使いのライターの方はですね、触っていただいて、最高の総中根になってるじゃないかってすごく喜んで、くれましたので、ぜひ製品版の方、お待ちいただければと思います。
Yeah, there was actually one journalist who was in Osaka for our preview last month, and they're an insect glaive main user, and they said that this is the best insect glaive ever in Monster Hunter history. So you can take that on board and look forward to the full version of the weapon in the final version of the game.
So excited!
Yeah, amazing. It's so great seeing Vaulting Dance back. I know that it's been very, very highly requested from the community. And I think there's a lot of people out there, including myself and members of the community, who doubted that it was something that could even be added back into the game. So it's so great to see it back and to see it in action. So moving on from the Insect Glaive, I know there's other weapons we want to touch on. We mentioned in the previews that the lance would be seeing some significant changes. So can you take us through those?
Yeah, this is the one I know nothing about. I've never really played Lance
プレビューの
ever.
段階で確かにランスも大きく大幅に調整を入れる予定になっているというふうに徳田さんがコメントしてたと思うんですけど、その詳細について教えてもらえますでしょうか。
はい。ランスは、多様なガードと、細やかな移動行動を駆使していって過去シリーズよりもモンスターに張り付いていける選択肢を増やしたかったんですけれども、逆にそのモンスターの行動を見て待つ選択肢っていうのがなくなった結果、かえって行動の選択肢が狭まって、同じ行動を繰り返してしまうような、ちょっと単調なプレーにつながってしまう部分っていうのがありました。
Yeah, the lance was something where the effects of the adjustments we made were somewhat on the unintentional side. So I wanted to add a variety of different options for guarding and more fine footwork movement options. And the idea was to increase the tool set of things the players had available when they're using the lance. But I think that the unintentional effect of that was that players weren't able to do the classic lance move of being able to wait it out and see what the monster is going to do next and then respond to that in kind. And I think that we ultimately ended up, unfortunately, narrowing the options available. And some players even went so far as to say that the lance action felt monotonous because ultimately, with the tools available, they still ended up repeating the same actions over and over again.
大きな変更点としましては、過去作のカウンター好きを、ガード中のためカウンターとして、復活させました。
So in response to that, one thing that I've done is take the counter thrust move, which was a move that was available in past games with the lance. I sort of resurrected that in a new form as what we're now calling the charge counter. And that's something that you can use while guarding as well.
これによってカウンターで待つ、選択肢を作りつつ、さらに大きなモンスターの攻撃に対しては、ガードからパワーガードの方に派生していって、受けた攻撃によってため段階が変わる、新アクションっていうのも、足していってますので、そうしたものも含めた反撃の選択肢というのを取れるように、しています。
So the addition of this move, as well as the other adjustments that we've made, some of which you can see here, which includes a new move that can be chained into from both Perfect Guard and Power Guard, means I think Lance players will appreciate the ability to read the monster's movements and You can choose your counter attack style, and you can even do a power guard that will now charge even more quickly or to higher levels if you successfully defend against more powerful monster attacks. So that sort of wait, read, and counter style of the lance, I think is going to be getting much better than you might have experienced in the open beta.
Again, I don't play Lance. Don't think I don't even think I've even tried Lance. So like all this seems good. Let me know in the comments down below if you play Lance, if these are positive changes. Plus you have a new move in there somewhere as well. So this all looks like it's good. This all looks like a positive. This all looks like a win.
その他混乱だったり暴発が起こりやすいような発生をなくしたりだとか、連携中に発生するガードダッシュのキャンセルのタイミングを早くするなど、過去作でできたことっていうのは、なるべくフォローしながらやれることの幅っていうのを広げる調整をしています。僕はもちろんランス界の藤岡さんも、結構、じっくり触っていましてかなり感触良くなってきています。
There's also another variety of adjustments that we've made to the lance in conjunction with Mr. Fujioka, the executive director and art director, who, as you guys know, is a lance main, so he takes the lance very seriously. And I worked together with him on these. So I wanted to expand the range of what you can do based on past titles. That has included actually removing some moves that you tended to chain into only on accident, and they would kind of cause confusion and mess up your combos. So I've sort of refined the moveset a little bit in those ways, while at the same time speeding up the cancellation timing of guard dashes that are chained into during combos. So I think that these changes, if you trust me and Mr. Fujioka, are going to make the lads feel better than ever.
はい、動画の方もお持ちしたので、ご覧ください。
I've got a video for this too, so
Oh,
if we can run
yes.
that, then you can see what I'm talking
Yes. Yeah. Yo, that's sick.
And there we have it. Lance
That
getting
was
straight to the point,
sick.
as always. So hopefully our Lance mains out there, that has put a smile on your face. And for those of you that have never tried
I'm not a
it
Lance
before,
main. That put a smile on
hopefully
my
that's,
face.
sparked
That
a
was
bit of
sick.
interest for you to go check it out come February. Can you tell us a bit more about that, please?
次にランツから移してスラッシュアクスも OBT の時から大きく変わってると聞いてるんですけど、詳細お願いします。
はい、スラッシュアックに関しては、そのオノモードでゲージを貯めて剣モードで放出していくような基本的なサイクル自体は、変えていませんが、オノモードでのちょっとためにくさみたいなものは、多少緩和しつつ、剣モードでの攻撃を、ゲージ消費に見合ったような威力とか手応えに調整を行っています。
Yeah, so with the switch axe, of course, the basic loop of charging up the axe mode and then releasing in the sword mode is the same. That's kind of what people expect from the weapon, but I understand from feedback that some players thought it was too difficult to get the axe mode charged up, and that was something that I wanted to alleviate, so that difficulty has been adjusted. At the same time, the sword mode has been adjusted to be this feeling more powerful and more responsive to match that gauge consumption.
特にフルリリーススラッシュは、手応えも威力も、最終派生型に見合った性能に、向上させています。
One move in particular that should be feeling a lot better now is the full release slash. It's been improved both in terms of its power output and its feeling, and it just feels like a much more appropriate finisher move in terms of how great it feels to pull off.
Yeah, because that's again, I don't play Switch Axe, and I was surprised that people were like really complaining about it because for what I saw people playing online, the Switch Axe looked really good and like it felt very powerful. So I was again very surprised to see people's, them not being too happy with it.
カウンター切りの使い勝手を上げたりだとか、集中弱点攻撃の後隙を短くするなど、使いづらかったコードを少しずつ調整していって、全体的なそういうさというのを向上させています。
There were also some moves that the feedback from the player base was that they were a little bit too difficult to use. So using the counter rising slash in sword mode something that's been made more usable. And I've also looked to shorten the animation lock period after using a focus strike with this weapon. So hopefully those things make it feel more usable.
はい、こちらも動画をご覧ください。
I've got a video for this one too, so let's take a look.
Hell yeah. Oh. Ooh. Oh my god. Yes, the hit stop makes
the
that
changes
so
to
much
switch
better.
acts are looking really great. As somebody who really likes the new moveset in Monster Hunter Wilds, these tweaks just take it to the next level. So I'm really excited
Hell
about
yeah.
that. And maybe I'll switch to the switch act. Sorry. Well, next up we've got Sword and Shield. Jono, I know this is very near and dear to your heart as your main. Tokuda-san, can you take us through all of the tweaks here?
はい、次にご存知のようにジョノがメインに使っている武器でもある片手剣ですけど、こちらの調整についてはいかがでしょうか。
はい、まずですね、過去作とちょっとボタンは違うんですけれども、
Interesting.
ガード中に切り上げですね、のアクションを復活させました。
Yeah, so for the Sword and Shield, one thing we heard your voice very clearly on was that the loss of the ability to use Rising Slash while guarding was being majorly felt. So that's back, and now you can now perform that move while guarding again.
また通常攻撃だったり、ジャストラッシュといった、各種攻撃の威力を、上げていったりだとか、各種行動のレスポンスの方も、向上させて、さらにバックステップと滑り込み切りの回避性能を強化するなど全体的なこの威力と、レスポンス手触りを向上を、させています。
And there's also various improvements, as you can see on the next couple of points here, being made to the weapon's sort of feel and also attack output. So normal attacks and the perfect rush have had their parameters improved. The responsiveness of your sort of more bread and butter mobile combos like the chop and side slash combo have been improved, and same goes for guard slash and perfect rush. And then finally the backstep and the sliding swipe have had their effectiveness when it comes to evasion improved as well. So lots of changes all across the board for Sword and Shield.
Nice.
こちらも動画をご覧ください。
Yep, you guessed it. Another video for this weapon. So
Always
let's run
have
it and see how
video.
it looks.
Always have video. Oh yeah. Ooh. So sick.
Oh my goodness. To my fellow Sword and Shield enjoyers, we are truly eating good in Wilds. Those changes look delicious. What can I say? And for those that haven't tried Sword and Shield yet, here's a really good excuse to give it a go. But enough of me gushing about the Sword and Shield, because I could do that for the next hour. There are other weapons too that have had some adjustments, maybe not as extensive as the four we've shown so far, but many have received tweaks. So, Tokuda-san, could you please take us through these at a broader level?
こちらの4つの武器ほど、大規模な変更ではないかもしれないんですけれども、全体的な武器の調整について教えてもらえますでしょうか。
はい、先ほどの
Okay.
4つの武器も含めてに
For
な
the
るんです
bow,
が、まず
let's
その
see.
属性値だったりとか、スキル
That is a
の
lot.
効果
Hold
を
on.
踏まえた、
Rebalancing the bow with increased attack power and responsiveness of moves such as normal attacks and arc shots while toning down the power of tracer shots. Interesting. Because I thought I would figure that was the point of making tracer shots your bread and butter. But they're increasing it because I feel like even the regular attacks of the bow were pretty strong already. So it's funny that they're increasing that even more and lowering tracer shot. But again, I only used the bow once or twice in Wilds. Not a lot, so take that as you will. But multiple wounds are now locked onto one by one with a brief delay in between rather than all at once. Ooh, that's a bit of a nerf. That was one of the cool things with like the bow that you basically just all lock and then boosh. Here it's basically you have to hold it, make sure it gets pink, 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 get them all in, and then release. That's interesting. And then turn on wide range adjustments to skills and elemental values for balance, for full game content, including the end game, overall adjustments to hit detection and low damage output compared to past Monster Hunter titles. Okay.
エンドコンテンツを見越した数値調整というのを、全部機種、広く、行っています。その過程で、意図したバランスになっていないものだったりとか、意図しない武器格差みたいなものが、生まれていた部分については調整を予定しています。
Yeah, as you said, all the weapons are receiving general wide-ranging adjustments to everything from their skills, their elemental values. I don't want there to be unintentional weapon tiering happening. I want to balance the weapon lineup so that everything has a valid place and everything is a viable choice, not just for playing the full game when it comes out, but going through to completing the game and then moving on to the end game content. I know that these balance adjustments need to stand up for many hours of gameplay from you guys, and that's the intention with this overall balancing approach I have.
基本的には、各武器種が持つコンセプトとか触り心地が実現できているかっていうのを重要視した調整を行っていまして、強いものを下げるというよりはどちらかというと低いものを上げていきながら、武器種間の格差もできるだけなくしていくような、方向性で、調整しています。
And my general concept is that I want each weapon to feel true to its own unique concept, because each of them has a place in the lineup of 14 weapons. In order to do that, I don't want to lower the high values to make everything meet in the middle. I actually want to raise up the lower values to make the weapons that were feeling less powerful feel more viable and going toe-to-toe with the other weapons in the lineup. So that's kind of my approach.
はい、その
He says that, but it literally shows him, like saying right there, toning down the power of tracer shots, and the lock on for focus strike is delayed and not instantaneous. So it's just like, wait, what?
主だった例として弓を挙げますけれども、弓はシルベの矢と、刺してそこに対して矢が飛んでいく、機能なんですけど、それと集中弱点攻撃の方にダメージのソースが、かなり偏っていたんですけれども、その部分を、通常攻撃だったりだとか局射のようなものの威力を上げつつ、さらにそれらの行動のつながりだったりレスポンスとかを向上させて、その他の行動でもしっかりダメージを取れるような、調整を行っています。
As on the slide here, the bow is a good example of this kind of general adjustment. I think that in the version that you guys will have played in the beta, the damage output was getting pretty biased towards using the tracer shots combined with the focus strike attacks. And this is something that I wanted to adjust. So again, as I said, rather than bringing those down, what I've done is bring up the null shots and the arc shot power, make those attacks more viable, and at the same time, general responsiveness has been improved across the board for the bow, including transitions and chaining between different attacks. So that makes it
How he
feel like a
avoided
more
saying toning.
cohesive,
He said he didn't say the other
bow
part.
concept type weapon.
Toning down the power of the tracer shot.
また集中弱点攻撃で、複数の傷だったりシルベの矢をまとめてロックオンして破壊することができたんですけども、傷については一つ一つロックオンする形に変更を行っています。
One more thing to mention is that as of the beta, the focus strike targeting capability was locking onto multiple wounds more or less simultaneously at the same time. And I've rebalanced this now so that whenever you try to lock on to multiple wounds, they'll lock on one at a time with a brief delay in between each one. So that's another balance adjustment that's been made here.
はい、弓についても動画を用意しましたので、
Yeah,
ご
they
覧
said
くだ
that
さい
one.。
And you can see that and more in this video. Let's run it.
Yeah. Wow, that delay is
このように
pretty
ですね、単なる下方修正にならない
pretty
よう
hefty
に、
delay.
武器の魅力だったりユーザーの選択肢の幅が広がるようにことを意識しながら、
So that's a
全ての
nerf
武
to
器
the
の
bow.
調整を行っています。
yeah, hopefully when you watch that, you get a sense of what I meant, which was I don't want to just bring the powerful aspects of weapons or the more powerful weapons down to the same level. I want to make adjustments to each weapon to make every single weapon feel like a viable choice in the lineup of weapons in Monster Hunter, and that players have lots to choose from and everything has its place.
Yeah, I really love that philosophy behind all the balancing changes and the improvements. And I know one weapon that I think we would be remiss if we didn't bring up, and a lot of people are really passionate about, is the hunting horn. Could you talk about some of the changes that the hunting horn is receiving?
狩猟笛は特に多く
Hunting
の
horn
ユー
was
ザーから
incredible in
フィ
Wilds.
ードバックがあった武器だと思うんですけど、こちらの最終的な仕様変更などはいかがでしょうか。
そうですね、狩猟笛の基本的な、メカニクスというか、そういうものについては、ユーザーさんも僕も含めて、結構気に入って、います。なんですけれども、サブ武器としての性能というのがちょっと、強すぎる面がありましたので、そのあたりは手を加えようと思っています。
Hunting horn is a weapon that I myself really enjoy playing, and I think we've heard from lots of players that they find it really fun. It's a very viable main weapon. So actually the adjustments that I want to make for Monster Hunter Wilds based on the beta were about how it felt a bit too strong as a sub-weapon.
OBT ではですね、
Bit too
攻
strong.
撃力アップ、
It
小の
was
戦術
strong.
効果までしかなかったので、そこまで問題にならなか
With
っ
the
たんですけれども、
multiple
製品版
sound
の方では
bubbles
攻撃力アッ
being
プ
able to
外
deal
の戦術
damage.
効果があったりだとか、あとそれらの効果の時間を長くするスキルなどもありましたので、サブ武器としてかなりちょっと強い面が、ありました。
It wasn't too bad in the OBT because being a limited slice of the gameplay, the melodies that were available for the hunting horn only actually went up to attack up S. But when you take that into the full game and you're going all the way up to attack up L, it just meant that the melody effects were too overpowered and it just became too much of an obvious meta choice to have the
Yeah,
hunting horn as a backup
pretty much.
weapon because of how powerful the parameters were whenever you were buffing not just yourself and but your whole party.
でですね、自分強化の戦率効果のパラメーターというのを速度のアップも含めて底上げしつつ、他の、プレイヤーへの、戦率効果のパラメーターだったりだとか、狩猟笛から他の武器種に変更したときにその、効果時間延長のスキルの効果がなくなるなどの調整を行っていって、サポート武器としての価値は残しつつもバランスを整えるような形にしています。
So yeah, with a view to rebalancing that, what I've actually done is the melody effects when you strengthen yourself, when you buff yourself, have actually been increased, been made more powerful. But conversely, the
Wow.
effect on others has been decreased to rebalance its focus.
Okay,
The other thing
okay.
that has changed is that when you change back from the hunting horn to the other weapon that you have with you, the amount of time that the melody effect was being applied and for an extended amount of time, that skill has been adjusted so that when you change back to your other weapon, it's not going to hang around for as long whenever you've got the buff applied to other players. So I think that those balances still make it a valuable choice as a support weapon, but it just makes it less OP, to use the community phrase.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, hopefully that's music to the ears of our
Let's see
users
how
out
that
there,
sound, like how that
putting
goes.
respect on the weapon for those that main it and are proud of the tunes they bring to the hunt. And kind of moving on from that a little bit and moving away from weapons. Well, actually, I say that we're moving further into weapons here. We've got some juicy details to go into. Earlier on in the stream, you mentioned
Skills.
to Guda-san in the final version that balance will be adjusted to take into the account the existence of skills that were not included in the open beta test. So that does mean that in Monster Hunter Wilds, the skill building system has changed a lot from what we know, right?
先ほどOBT に入ってなかったようなスキルの存在なども考慮して製品版の全コンテンツを通してバランスを、検討されているとのことでしたが、確かにワイルズでスキルの仕組み自体は大きく変わっていると思うんですけど、そちらについてちょっと詳細に説明してもらえますでしょうか。
はい、OBT を受けた、調整内容とちょっと話が、変わりますけれども、インタビューなど以外ではちょっとこれまできちんと説明できていなかった部分でもありますので、ご紹介させていただきます。
Yeah, this is something that isn't strictly speaking a OBT feedback response. but it's something that I think I've mentioned a few times in interviews that have gone out with the previews, but I wanted to take the chance on today's stream just to kind of really make it clear exactly what the implications of this new system are. So let's take a look at an example with this screenshot.
今まではその防具のパーツに装備のスキルが、ついていましたけれども、特定の武器種にしか効果がないようなタイプのスキルが入っていると、その防具に合う武器種を選ぶしかなくなってしまって。
Yeah, I think the whole thing is that like weapon skills or skills that improve weapon damage and stuff are going to be tied to weapons, while defensive abilities will be tied to armor, and support abilities will be tied to armor as well. I think that's how they said they're going to do it.
あったりだとか、切り合わせがしにくくなってしまうみたいなことが、発生している部分がありました。
So on previous titles, the place where you put equipment skills has always been the armor rather than the weapon, right? So that meant if you needed to equip skills that were sort of specific to a certain weapon or category of weapons, there was sort of an inevitability about certain skills and certain armor gear being the kind of only viable choice whenever you were going to go out with that particular weapon equipped, and that kind of limited, I think, the players' freedom to choose what exactly it was they wanted to wear.
今作ではメイン武器とサブ武器を切り替えられるように、なっていますので、これまでの仕組み、スキルの仕組みですと武器を切り替えた時に、せっかくのスキルビルドが無駄になってしまう場面が、出てきます。なので、今作では例えば攻撃とかガード性能のような、武器に紐づくようなスキルは武器側に、つく形にして、例えば早食いのような、補助的なスキルについては防具側につけるような形に、変更しております。
I was about to felt like I was gonna sneeze, and then I raised it, but then it went away.
Bring a main weapon and a sub weapon was that your carefully chosen skill build on your armor would be completely wasted and be for naught. Whenever you change weapon, suddenly all of those skills that you'd equipped on the armor might not be relevant depending on what the second weapon was. So the system now has changed so that skills that are mostly tied to weapon functions, such as
there it is.
attack boost and guard, are now attached to the weapons themselves directly. And then other more supplementary skills such as speed eating are still attached to armor. And by separating out where the skills go, it means that your skill build will actually make a lot more sense even as you change weapons throughout the hunt.
Yeah, so this is a pretty significant change to how players are going to be able to build their sets, and hopefully it'll result in lots of variety in terms of the different weapons people use and different armor sets. But one question I had is, what happens when weapons are upgraded? Do these skills disappear, or what happens with them?
このシステムになって、例えば武器を強化して派生で新しい武器にしたときに、自分その入っていたスキルがなくなったりすることはあるのでしょうか？
はい、ここちょっと分かりにくいところなのですごくいい質問なんですけども、
I'm assuming it just upgrades the skill, right?
派生の強化でスキルが消えることということは、ありません。
Yeah, that's a great question, and maybe a concern people might have had if it wasn't super clear how this system works. So it's a good chance to be very clear about it. Skills will never disappear from a weapon whenever you upgrade it within the same weapon tree.
今画面に映っているのが、ホープブレード2で、砥石高速化のスキルが、ついているかと思います。
So as you can see here on this screenshot, the Hope Blade 2 in the equipment info panel, you can see that it's got the speed sharpening equipment skill on it.
これを強化、したスライドに変えていただきますと、
When you upgrade that, it changes to a different weapon, and I think we have a second screenshot prepared, which we can switch to now.
Yeah, so it just
ホー
adds.
プブレード3に強化した形になると、
I thought it would
砥石
upgrade the
高速
skill.
化のスキルはついたまま、見切りの、スキルが新たに追加されています。
So as you can see with this screenshot of the Hope Blade 3, the equipment skill speed sharpening has been retained, and we've got an additional skill called Critical Eye, which has been included with the upgraded weapon.
ですので、その、スキル自体はなくならずに、別のものがついたり強化されたりしていきながら、武器派生を、強化していくことができます。
So as you can see, the skills didn't reduce, and some can be added, and also the level of existing skills might be increased the more you upgrade the
Okay,
weapon
so
in the
yeah, it
tree.
does. So it's not just adding; it does increase as well.
後半の、
Gotcha.
派生の武器になるほどですね、武器の方にもスロットが空いていて、そこに装飾品を入れることによって、自分好みのスキルビルドを楽しむことも、可能になります。
Also, in addition to these built-in equipment skills that are baked into each level of the weapon, there are, of course, decoration slots. So
Yeah, you
the
can literally see
further you
right
go down
there.
the weapon tree, the more decoration slots will open up on the weapon at the higher levels, and that's going to let you create your own skill build to your own liking and combine the pre-built ones with the ones you add later using decorations.
I think that is really, really exciting. I mean, having the
Yeah,
skills set this way means that, as we
it's
mentioned earlier,
smart.
that
It's
there's
actually
going to
really
be
smart.
far less instances of there being a particular weapon that is the best for, multiple situations. And when you're building your sets, your weapon will directly contribute to that. And also, you can switch between your weapons without it, neutering your armor set that you've kind of been meticulously building. So I'm really, really excited to see one, what the community discover, and two, like how they use it. And I can't wait to see what the different swords and shields have as well. So that's really, really cool. And now, let's move on a bit. Let's have a little chat about a few other things that we've seen in the beta and
Awesome,
things like that.
awesome,
And there's one thing
awesome.
that kind of really
Yeah, when it comes to like the skills, I actually kind of dig what they're doing. I mean, obviously we until we get our hands on it, we won't know the full scope of it and how it turns out. But as it stands, I think it's really smart and really good the way they've split up the abilities for, again, like mostly attack stuff to be on weapons and support and defense stuff to be on armor. So, and I'm assuming that we're still gonna have the ability to put on bracelet. Like, was it a bracelet or a necklace in World that you could like level up and have different things on that as well? So, and obviously decoration slots. So yeah, so far everything I'm hearing sounds really really good to me. So far, I am. Oh, pretty much this thing has just been knocking out of the like home run after home run. Honestly, this has been a home run after home run. I am even more hyped for this game than I already was.
Something that I was really pleasantly surprised by when booting up the open beta were all the options for the different HUD display to have it bigger, to adjust it whether you're sitting at a TV or you're sitting at a desk. But even with that, I think there are additional areas where that could be improved. So, what are our plans in the
Yeah, for me, it was the fact of like the weapon icon thing was so small on my screen. I could like barely see it. It was so like I wanted to make it bigger and I just couldn't. It was so annoying.
full game to adjust the HUD even further?
ハードの表示についてですけど、OBT 段階でもすでにテレビ向けの大きさやデスク向けの大きさの設定があったりして、かなり細かく入ってたと思うんですけど、さらに製品版に向けてハードの表示のオプションを追加しようと思っているのでしょうか。
そうですね。まずオプション以前にですね、そもそもの表示の部分で、武器の、固有の表示だったりだとか、一部の要素の大きさなど、見やすさに関わる調整っていうのは、入れていって、より見やすく、しています。
Well, firstly, even before we get into the idea of options you can change, I am looking at feedback on the size of the specific weapon, unique UI elements
Yes.
that each weapon has. And
Yes.
we're going to review those and make sure that by the time the game comes out, that the relative sizes of all those elements is going to
Oh
make sense for
yeah.
everyone.
Oh, thank you.
のアッ
Thank
プ
you
デー
so
トで、
much.
オプションなどの拡充というのも、
Oh,
随
that's
時
what I
検
wanted to
討して
hear.
おります。
As for additional UI options, we're considering if we can add any in future post-launch updates. So stay tuned on that.
Oh,
Nice. Watch this space.
that was all I wanted to hear. Oh yes, the weapon attributes. Oh my god. He's answered all my dreams. He's he's granted me and given me all my dreams. All my dreams are coming true. I'm so freaking happy right now. I am so freaking happy.
Now, thank you so much for answering all these questions so far, Takuda-san. And, we are getting near the end of the pre-launch community update stream. So I have one small question that you may have seen amongst the community and one that Joe and I see everywhere. And, let's just between us, we'll keep it between us. Is there going to be another open beta test before launch?
こちらからの最後の質問になるんですけど、
Probably not.
毎日のようにコミュニティマネージャーの方の
No.
DM やインボック
I
ス
would
にも入ってる
crossing
質問なの
fingers,
で
but
どうしても聞かせてほしいんですが、ここだけの話ぶっちゃけ OBT はまた次回遊べる機会があるのでしょうか。教えてください、徳田さん。
Come on.
まあ、完全に領土さんとかが答えるような案件だと思うんですけども、特別にお答えすると、検討自体は、しています。ですが、もし追加の
Come
OBT を実施
on.
するとしてもですね、基本的には前回の OBT を遊べなかった方だったりだとか、その追加の、項目テストが、主な目的となりますので、今日お話したような、内容っていうのは基本的に製品
I'm
版とか
guessing that's a
Day1 パッ
no.
チ向けの対応に、になっていますので、OBT には反映されない、形になります。ちょっとその点はご了承いただきたいです。
Hoping yes,
And
hoping
that's the kind
yes.
of question where I'm used to leaving up to Ryozo, who'd be here with us, and he could answer that kind of high-level decision. But since you've asked, I will address that. We are considering if we will bring back the open beta test,
Oh, yes.
but I would need to make clear that that would purely be essentially another chance for players who missed it the first time around to get a chance to try the game again, and we might maybe be able to add a couple of additional options here or there for people to try out. It wouldn't be something where all the various detailed weapon adjustments we've discussed today would be included. Those are strictly being worked on the basis of including them in the full game, including the day one patch.
That's a bummer. I mean,
So,
I would still
again,
love it though.
It's something we haven't ruled out yet, is bringing back the open beta test, but please wait for the full game to come out in order to experience all the wonderful changes we've discussed today. And hopefully you can understand why we've had to separate those two considerations.
All right, yeah, well,
I again, I totally understand because like putting in like all the stuff, all the changes to like an already made beta would be a lot of work, and they don't want to focus on that. They want to focus on the main game. Um, but yeah, like even still, I would be happy with just the beta coming back just to play it more of the game. I would be happy with that. But still, like I understand the reasoning behind that. Again, this game, I am so this is my most anticipated game of next year. I know people voted for GTA at the Game Awards, but for me, nah. For me, it's this game. This is the game I'm most excited for next year, and it's 2 months away at this point. Oh my god, I am beyond excited for this game, and I cannot freaking wait. All right, guys. So that was the community update for Monster Hunter Wilds, and oh my god, I'm just so happy. They addressed almost everything. Actually, not almost. They did. They addressed everything I was wondering about, and like I personally had issues with. And then obviously there's stuff that other people, like other players, were worried about. That they addressed those as well. I'm just, oh my god, I'm so happy with what they said, what they announced, what they showed, and again, I just cannot wait for this game. I am so happy and so excited. But those are my thoughts. That's my reaction. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like or comment down below. I'd appreciate any and all feedback. Subscribe. I'm streaming on Twitch, so please consider following me there at twitch.tv/JustAGamerInc, all together in word, or you can click the link below. But what are your thoughts on this community update? Are you happy? Are you ecstatic like I am? I am just, oh, I'm blushing. Gushing. I'm just so freaking hyped. And again, I apologize. I didn't go through everything. I skipped around a few parts here and there that were not interesting to me, but obviously it'll be interesting to other people. So please, I recommend checking out the video yourself and like getting really in there. But regardless, thank you for watching, and until next time, take care and have a good game.